I'm Kirsten Veronese, and I'm going to talk to you about some more tips on how to make your Pilates classes more size inclusive. I'm going to do it while I'm doing my Pilates chores here. So let's have a little bit of story time. Now, when I was taking Pilates classes, I started to notice a trend with a lot of instructors, and it had all to do with the terminology and how they were preparing us for the moves, if you will say. So for example, I had a lot of instructors in the past where, we'd be doing an arm movement and they'd be like, all right, ladies, we're gonna be working on those bat wings. So as somebody who is plus size and as somebody who realizes that Pilates really isn't about aesthetics, Pilates is about how you move and feel within your body, and Pilates allows you to do the things that you love. Now, some people will tell you that Pilates is about getting toned and having that Pilates body, but the core of why Pilates was created is not for aesthetics. So when I hear instructors saying things like working on those bat wings, or we're gonna get rid of those flabby abs or flabby arms, the way that you use your words matters. And when you use aesthetics in your cueing and in the way that you teach, it makes people think that, well, that's what Pilates is about. We're only doing this so that we can, look a certain way, and that just simply isn't the case. Now, if you have plus size people in your classes, maybe some of them are for weight loss, maybe some of them just want to feel good in their body. It's not up to you as the instructor to tell people, we're doing this move to help tone this, to make your arms look a certain way. Your job as the instructor is to cue the movement, to help them know how to breathe, what muscles they need to be engaging, but you really want to stay as body neutral as you possibly can. When you use terms that are not body neutral, you definitely make people not necessarily want to come back to your classes, especially people who are plus size, because it makes them feel that you're not a safe instructor. It makes them think that all you care about is how I look. And if I'm a plus size person, I don't want to be focused on how I look. I want to feel welcome, supported, and accepted. And you do that by the way that you talk to your clients. If your goal is to help make everyone comfortable in your classes, whether they are a conventionally smaller body or whether they're plus size, I guarantee you choosing more body neutral language is really going to help make people feel safe and supported in your classes and want to come back. If I'm saying things like, hey, we're making sure we have those nice juicy peaches versus we're doing this lunge movement to really have strong legs so that you're able to do the things in life that you love. Which sounds better to you? Now some people may say, well, having a juicy peach does sound better. If that's the case, then if that's your clientele, then that's awesome. But if you really want to focus on inclusivity, you need to go with those neutral terms. So I tend to say things along the lines of encouraging people to focus on strength, on focusing on, spinal alignment, making sure that we feel good, that we can function in our bodies, relieve tension, relieve stress, much more than focusing on terms of body parts. It's just a really big turnoff when you think about it. There's a lot of toxic fitness and diet culture that really still is ingrained in our everyday verbiage than we really realize. So next time you're teaching a class, really focus on the words that you're using. Am I focusing on telling people how their body should look? Like we're gonna snatch that waist or things like that? Or am I helping people focus on how they should feel in their bodies, the muscles they should be engaging in? So I will point out body parts as in, glutes, your booty, but I'm not focusing on it in a term of how it looks. And that's a very key thing to really think about. If you see people that are maybe needing a modification and needing support, instead of going up to them and singling them out right away, give modifications, give cues verbally to help people realize, oh, this is an option. So the way that I do it in class, I'll say the more supported option is, A or B. The more spicy option is C or D. choose what feels best for your body. That way people feel that they have autonomy over themselves and they're not being forced into a movement that maybe is not going to feel great for their bodies. Especially when it comes to plus size people, like a lot of times, especially for me when I used to take classes, I did not like to be singled out. I would have preferred to just have melted into the background, to have not been noticed, because I did feel insecure in my body. I did feel like I was super beginner. I didn't want any attention on me. Now, whether you're in a plus size or not, you can feel that way. So a lot of people do not like to be singled out in class, you know, especially like, hey, Kirsten, you know, change this, blah, blah, blah. They don't like that. So if you continue to give cues and people just aren't getting it, then you can quietly go up to them and maybe suggest a modification, or you can ask for permission to give a tactile cue to help them with their alignment. But to me, that's typically a last resort, because again, I don't want to be singling people out. And then if I go and do that, I'm going to make sure that I'm quiet, I'm close to them so they can hear me, but not so loud that every single person is going to hear what I'm saying. So that person feels safety. That person doesn't feel like they're being reprimanded, because sometimes that can be kind of what it feels like sometimes when an instructor approaches you. Also really focusing on positive reinforcement. I really like to focus on making sure that I start to learn people's names pretty quick. I like to call people out in class with positivity, not with things that they need to change. You know, hey, good form, so-and-so, you know, really loving that breath work, so-and-so, that kind of stuff, so that they feel like, oh my gosh, the instructor is noticing me. That positive reinforcement means a lot, and you don't get that in a ton of Pilates situations. I've had some classes where I went to the same instructor for years, they never learned my name or never said my name out loud. But the few times where an instructor does say my name, oh my gosh, it like makes their entire day, makes their entire world. So really focus on getting to know your members and giving them that positive reinforcement. On the topic of really learning your members, I do like to try my best to remember, you know, this client likes this setting for this or that setting for that. If I have people that are maybe in larger bodies like myself, when they first start taking classes with me, I will ask them, you know, do you prefer this or this? So they're like, I have no idea. Then I'm like, let's try both ways and see what feels better in your body. That's a step that a lot of instructors won't do. They'll just say, this is the setting, we're moving forward. You know, so I like to definitely give them the autonomy of choosing what feels best for them. Because when you're in a larger body, there's a lot of things that are gonna feel a lot better on a heavier setting versus a lighter setting for, you know, people in more conventional bodies. So that's one thing to really consider. Another thing is pushing that carriage out, really trying to remind people, you know, hey, if you're a little taller, maybe try pushing out here. See if that feels better on the shoulder blocks. I always like to present things that maybe are a modification or something that's gonna help someone as something positive for them, so that it doesn't feel like, oh, this is a modification. No, it feels like, oh, you know what? Yeah, let me do what's gonna feel better in my body. Not let me do the thing that everybody else is doing, whether it's gonna cause me extreme pain or not. You know, and giving people those options makes them feel so seen and heard. And that's really the core at making a Pilates class feel inclusive. I hope that these tips helped you guys. I'm gonna get back to finishing up my, what I call Cinderella task. So I will catch you guys later. But if you have any questions or if you have any specific Pilates moves or things that you do in Pilates and maybe don't feel great in your body and you want to know if there's any kind of modifications or ways to make it feel better, let me know. And if you're an instructor and have anything that you have questions on and want some advice on, I am 100% here for you. You can put it in the comments, you can shoot me a DM. My entire point of getting certified in the first place was to help show that Pilates is truly for all bodies, and I truly do feel that that is my calling and why I'm here. So hit me up if you have any questions. I'd love to help.